Okay, they look like they cut those 9. At least they didn't cut all of these. Sometimes they keep going, they do the whole wing. And at least we have new growth here. So this one must have either been shed or pulled out.
So hi guys, so today is a big day because Yara is gonna get Imp. That means she's gonna get new feathers and I'm so excited. Hope is donating all his baby wing feathers to little Yara so she can experience free flight. Yara's a baby Catalina macaw who's just 9 months old and she got clipped really bad by the breeder. And she got now a new dad and her new dad is bringing her right now to the vet. I'm gonna film how she's getting in today and you guys will be right there with me, and I've never seen a process like this before live, so this is a new experience for me too. I'm so excited. And look at these beautiful wing feathers. They are Hope's feathers and oh, they smell so good. They smell like Hope. I just love Hope's smell. They're beautiful. Beautiful baby wing feathers, and we're gonna give this Yara. Yara's gonna get flying and I can't wait for Hope and Yara to fly together. So let's go into the vet. So let's see. So we are right now at animal emergency. Oh, this is nice. I think it's right there. Ryan! Hey!
What's up?
Singing.
Oh, no, we can't have any yet. I forgot.
Yara? Hi, baby. How are you? How was she in the car?
Fine, she didn't make any noise at all.
Wow, cool. She's probably excited. We just got at the vet and it's a huge, beautiful building and Yara's here, Ryan is here. So I'm going to switch off the camera just out of courtesy and I'm going to switch it back on once we are in the examination room. Because I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. All right.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Where are we?
Hi, little sweetheart. I have for you guys.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jocelyn, and I'm just going to go over your history form a little bit, get more in depth, and then after that, the doctor will come in and do the physical and for you guys.
Thank you.
So this is Yara, not Bella.
Yeah, Bella was the name when we got her a week ago.
Oh, okay.
I renamed her, yeah.
Okay.
She only had the name.
That's why I was like.
She only had the other name for like 2 weeks, so.
Oh, okay. All right. And we acquired her a week ago, and then we know that she is a female.
They said she was a female, but I mean, I couldn't know for sure.
Okay. So we're suspecting.
Yes.
That we're a female. Okay. So do you guys own 2 other macaws, or this one and another one?
I own 2 macaws, yeah.
2 macaws? Okay. 2 macaws total.
3 total.
3, okay.
2 more, yeah.
Okay. And then we have an aviary, like a bird room.
A bird room and an aviary outside.
Oh, nice, cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me a little bit more about the enclosure? Like.
The inside, it's just wood branches and metal cage panels, and then the floor is just vinyl flooring in the bird room that gets mopped and swept every day. And then outside, it's just the dirt ground of my backyard, and it's a metal cage aviary outside with wood branches.
Oh, okay. All right, sounds good.
Bellas.
It's not a bad idea. What are the other birds' names?
Lido and Pilar.
Okay. Yeah, Yara works better with them.
Yeah. It's more fitting.
So she's just with you a short time, and we're calling her she for now.
Yes.
No problems, no concerns. Jocelyn was telling me everything is fine. But she did come to you from the person already with a wing trim.
Yes.
And you would like to eventually have her flighted.
Yes.
Okay, good. Which should happen. That's supposed to be the way it works.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be the natural order of what happens, depending on age and if the person you got her from. Is it somebody that we can trust the age to be correct? Do we think they knew for sure, or?
He was just relaying what the pet store had told him, which
Okay.
was July 22nd. So
Okay.
Maybe.
So we have no choice but to believe them.
Yeah.
So we're hopeful that that's correct, and we're hopeful that we're dealing with a young bird,
Yes.
so that allows us to make better planning in what's supposed to happen with molting and feather turnover and all those type of things. I only ask just sometimes honest mistakes happen, and people misquote a date or change something, and that can change where things tend to be.
Yeah, no, as far as we know, it's July 22nd last year.
All right, catch date. And like we said, no problems eating, drinking, pooping,
Nope.
behaving normally.
Seems great.
Everything's okay there, good. All right. I know she's a hybrid. I know it said blue and gold, but I didn't know that she's a hybrid.
Yeah, she's we think she's a Catalina.
Yeah, a little bit, yes. And she may develop more color if that's her age, especially for a Catalina. She may change color as she ages a little bit more.
Yeah.
And be a little bit more, or she may be a little
Your
lighter.
Catalina is changing color, right?
Yeah, he's 18 months old.
Oh, okay, so we have some of that more yellow and the difference in the orange, and there's a lot of polluting of birds now. There's a lot of less pure breeding, and there's a lot of hybridization, and even the classic color pattern in the hybrids is sometimes being lost with some breeders. So we know what a Catalina is supposed to look like, and then you see one and it's like purebred, but it looks nothing like other Catalinas. But some of that is aging as well. Okay. And then the second part was microchip, just to make sure. Okay. Now you free flight the other birds?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
2 green wings.
And where is that? Is there an enclosed space, or is it?
No, just outside, a field by my house, and then a dry lake bed up near Victorville.
Okay. And you've been doing that a while? Did they come to you trained, or did you work on that?
No,
or?
I trained them.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, she
That's
does
great.
the same thing.
We fly together.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So that's what it is. There's 3 birds total.
For me,
2
yes.
that you had. Okay.
Two that I fly.
2 that you
and then-
fly, and then you have a third.
I have also 4 birds, but
Oh, okay.
I have 1 Catalina,
Hey,
2 Amazons, and a Larky, and they all fly it.
Okay, great. That's awesome.
So we have a big flight flock.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. So you take them out for flight time and for exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day.
And they're always happy.
Of course they're happy. What they need is what they're supposed to have.
Oh yeah.
It's the single biggest missing factor in people keeping pet birds.
I agree.
Is wing trimming, is caging, is lack of flight,
Yeah.
lack of free flight. I mean, there are risks with it, you know that, but if you've got trained birds and you're a competent owner, it shouldn't be as much of a problem, but certainly flight is largely missing from most birds, quality of life.
Yeah.
And it's less aggressive and, you know.
Well, it's everything. It's mental well-being, it's emotional well-being, it's the thing we say when birds fly. It's what they do.
Yeah.
It's their thing. You know, it's obstructing them from doing one of the main things they should be doing. So that's great. It's good to hear that. You be nice. You be nice. Should be a brat.
She's like, you dragged me in the car for 2.5 hours and I have to sit in here?
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. So then I know originally, too, you spoke to Rebecca, one of our other technicians.
Yes.
Because you were looking into the possibility of whether procedures like imping would be something that would work. And I guess the thought on that was probably just timing.
Yes.
How much faster we can do that.
Yeah.
And then at least you have other birds to help with the training for the flight. I mean, imping, as you probably know, is usually done in wildlife.
Yes.
And a lot of times in pet birds, and that's why I was asking about the age, if we know their age and if it's a healthy bird and they're going through proper molting, most of the time, as opposed to doing surgical procedure like that in a bird this age, usually we would recommend one of 2 things, which is removal of retained shafts to get new feathers to grow in, or sitting out even what may be a couple months, just waiting for those cut feathers to be shed and be replaced with new flight feathers. It's the best way to guarantee the most normal wing for flight.
Yeah.
You know, without tons of donor feathers and without being able to properly do it, it's not typically something. I've been a bird vet for 16 years, and I've only ever done it in wildlife. You know, and we've had other people like, I really want my bird to fly, and I'm like, well, I want your bird to fly too, but a couple months won't make a difference if we do it and it doesn't work or it's not the right thing. And like I said, we've had birds that have had retained shafts or haven't molted properly, and we've actually removed those feathers, because if you pluck a whole feather out, the body will grow a new one. And that's been one of the ways that we've had to do that in order to get these birds flying.
Okay.
You know, and then the third part of it, of course, always is how urgent is it really? You know, it's not, certainly at this point, not a matter of any kind of serious life or death thing.
Yeah.
There's not a lot going on, but we'll take a look at the feathers and we'll go over a physical exam and we'll check things and we'll see what we think makes the most sense.
Cool. The thing is with free flight also, you need to train a baby bird and time is as
right, and that's what I was going to say, and that's usually
the crunch for me, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, and even at this point, sure, had you gotten this bird 3 months ago, that would have been ideal too, you know, even to start training at that point. But I do know people who have expertly flight trained even older birds. Yeah, so the goal is as young as possible, as soon as that bird can start flying, and especially if you have other birds, but you know, at this point it may not totally lose too much ground depending on how things go.
Yeah.
I have also here the baby feathers from my birds, the donor feathers.
Oh, okay. All these shed feathers?
Yes.
These are blue and gold feathers, huh?
No, they are
Oh, they're from the
actually
Catalina? Oh, they are.
I have
okay.
the same.
Oh, you were saying the color, yeah. Okay, those
Yeah.
are just the flight feathers.
Right.
Okay,
He
some
checked
of them.
them. He's now 18 months old then.
Oh, okay, that's right, right. Okay. All right, bird. All right. What do you think, Miss Yara? I know.
She's gonna be so mad.
Is she going to be mad?
She doesn't let me pet her really yet.
Okay. Well, it's only been a week.
Yeah.
None of you know each other that well yet.
No.
You want to come down on there?
My other two I hand fed from baby chicks, so it's like a whole different.
Yeah, whole different
Whole different
bond, a whole
ballgame,
different
yeah.
situation. Yeah. And they come, you know, I mean, and at least you've got macaws, and at least you're familiar and understand them, and
Yeah.
you know that. But yeah, it's different when you hand raise them, and when you've had them from babies and you brought them up. Even people that have them, it's a different experience. You know, you don't,
She tries
you don't
to
know
jump-
this bird yet.
She tries to jump off the perch and fly with it every time.
Oh,
so
okay.
She just hits the ground.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not good that she hits the ground, but it's
Yeah.
good that she has a desire to fly.
She's very eager. Yeah.
Now, do we know her history in wing trimming? Was this wing trim done when she was a baby and she just hasn't molted? Okay, we don't know anything.
I don't
Well,
know.
I know that breeder because I bought the bird before. He's horrible. He's in Sherman Oaks, and when I went there, they have a lot of baby birds, and my cage is stacked till the ceiling. So
That kind of thing, yeah.
yeah. So he's just in for the money, basically.
Which is sad. That's what most people breed for, to make the money. And a lot of times they still perpetuate that myth that they should trim the wings to make them better, to make them tamer, to make them bond
For the
with you.
buyers.
Yeah, we just can't get that logic out of people's heads.
A pet store lady once told me that it helps them balance if their wings are trimmed.
Oh, right, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, even veterinarians. I mean, we can't get the veterinary community to stop doing it. These veterinarians that just think a wing trim is part of bird care, like it's part of your checkup. I mean, a wing trim is something you just automatically do. And I always ask people, why do you trim the wings? And they're like, well, my vet's always told me to do it. I'm like, well, why? It's just become this perpetuated habit. We have enough problems keeping pet birds. The least we could do is let them fly, right? All right, you. Well, Jocelyn's going to wrap you in this towel if you'll let us. What works better for you doing that? Are you comfortable with her that way, or do you want to put her down here, or?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Okay.
she'll.
I don't want her to hold on to you, you know.
Yeah,
That's-
she'll bite me too, probably.
Right, and we don't want her to do that.
Oh, you're fine. I know.
You're okay. Hi, beautiful. So Jocelyn's going to come right near you. She should be okay. I don't think she's fearful of the towel, so she'll yell a little bit, but that's
Oh, yeah,
okay.
that's fine.
But that's an easy way to be able to tell her. And I saw before she was even wanting to step on it, so she's not even that sort of concerned, which is good. Hi, gorgeous. You can yell a little if you want, but you're okay. This doesn't hurt. Right. It's hard. It's hard when you don't know a lot. We don't know previous history. We don't know where we are at that point. You know. Since, oh, hi. You're okay. She's not banded.
No.
Do you know if the breeder ever bans the birds? It's strange.
I've never been there to the store itself, so I have no idea.
Okay.
All of these birds are not banded. We bought 3 birds there.
And none of them
Neighbor
have
bird.
bands?
Yeah.
My old bird wasn't banded either.
My other 2 birds aren't banded either.
Hope isn't banded either.
Are your others microchipped?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna bring them today to do that too, but they said that they probably didn't have the microchip, or she wasn't sure if it was gonna cost extra, like exam-wise and stuff.
Oh, and all of that? All right. There's 2 new tail feathers coming in here, which is good. You can see it on both sides, new blood feathers. So it's good to always confirm there's feather turnover and new feather growth, which is something that we always hope promotes changes there. This is just a baby bird tail too. All right, yeah. I know.
She's actually pretty good. Hope's green.
She's very good. Yeah, she's really good. So there is one here. So this is new. So this is good. Okay.
That one's new?
This one is new. See the blood in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a new feather.
Wow.
You can see these.
So hot.
Yeah, and the wonder too is if she chewed on these a little bit too. It's an odd cut in the way it's done.
Yeah.
It's really a bad cut.
Yeah, it is. There. Okay, they look like they cut those 9. At least they didn't cut all of these. Sometimes they
Right.
keep going, they do the whole wing. And at least we have new growth here. So this one must have either been shed or pulled out, but it's good to see there is one coming in. That should argue that the rest of them should be able to come in. Okay. Squeeze in here. Hold on to Jocelyn's arm. Okay, same thing here. Yeah, new feather coming in there. The other one's cut. 10, 9, 8. They cut less on this wing, which is nice.
They probably just held the wing up and just went
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, that's sometimes what they do.
But it's just weird that they let one wing on each side, one
Yeah,
long one.
One feather. Yeah, I wonder if that's also just that one's being replaced. I wonder if they did cut them all and that one fed out. But that one's actually bleeding. Yeah. It looks like there's some damage to it. So a lot of times when there's just one new feather that comes in, it doesn't have the others to protect it. You can see it's got a little fracture line in it. See it there? Yeah. And it kind of gets banged up a little bit. So it just had, oh, I'm sorry, Bert. It just had a big scab on it that peeled away there where there was some dried blood. And it's got, it will bleed. I mean, the feather should be okay, but it just shows that this feather's getting damaged because it doesn't have other feathers to protect it. I know, we're sorry about that. You're going to be okay. You should be able to keep that feather. Okay, so take that wing back in. There you go. We got you, we got you. Take a listen here. Thing, and then we're gonna let you just like that. Is she bathing at all yet?
I shower her.
You just shower? Okay.
Yeah.
Spray her down a little bit?
Yeah, I put her in the shower on a perch.
What's she think of that?
She just sits there. She doesn't love it, but she doesn't hate it. My other 2 love it.
They love showers? Good. I was just gonna say they should, at least hopefully.
Yeah, I think she's just not used to it. That was probably her first shower.
I was gonna say, right, yeah, she looks a little dry, huh?
Yeah.
Willow just got her first shower too.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. You're okay. Don't you go nowhere.
Hi, Yara.
There you go. Fix yourself. There you go. All right, 930 grams. There you go.
Seemed like hope.
So Pilar must be over 1,000 then, because Pilar's even bigger than she is.
Yeah, she's typically, I expect she'll probably reach a kilogram with full age. Where are you going? Hi. Do you need to step up on somebody? Hi.
Aww.
You did really well. Thank you for being so good. Thank you for being so good. There you go. You can stand there for a second. All right. She's in good body condition. What we see here, as you've just seen, she does have one new blood feather, one new feather on each wing. The others have been trimmed fairly unevenly, odd lengths and an odd number on each one. Considerations, like I said before, generally, she should molt in the next, ideally, depending on her age, you expect most of these birds by a year old to start turning over those feathers and to at least replace those flight feathers with new ones. The fact that she has those two on there makes me wonder if those got pulled out or yanked out or something, and that's why she's only got those, because it wouldn't make sense that she'd only replace those two, especially with her age. The other consideration is with the damage to those and the different degree of them, I'm not sure that these are going to sustain flight. I think as far as imping, and even if we said let's try it, even though I wouldn't recommend it, I don't know that those are going to be able to sustain flight with her size and her weight, and especially with the degree of feathering she has. The other consideration, like I said, is you do one of two things. I wish she'd be able to fly as well. We just wait and let those feathers shed out and let her grow in her new natural ones. And once she's got her Mother Nature wings, then you start working with the flight training and then train her there. It shouldn't be that much longer. The flip side of it is because she's got some growing in, the other thing we could do with those feathers is we could take a few of them out. And like I said, if you remove a feather completely, it generally stimulates a new one to grow in pretty quickly. At least that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know why on occasion what's happened with birds, but sometimes they have aggressive wing trims and the feathers don't grow in right. Sometimes they have feathers traumatically removed. Feathers take a long time to come in. We've seen that happen. But in most cases, if you pluck a feather out of a bird, a new one grows back in. It stimulates it right away, and within a week or two, there should be a new feather coming in to replace it. And that's one of the other techniques that people do in place of imping, is actually just taking feathers out to just get the body to grow a new one.
Yeah.
So in a situation like this, it might be a consideration to remove a few of those cut feathers and let her replace them with her natural feathers. That might be the fastest way to get her back into flying and flight. I'm just not sure these are going to sustain flight, and I'd be concerned about her being able to get lift and not train and moving forward. So that might be a better way to go with it with her. Unless you felt like it is what it is, she's this age, let's just let her go through her molt, let's let her get her feathers in. There's of course the possibility that that's not going to happen either. I mean, I hope this bird is healthy. I hope there's nothing in her breeding. I hope there's nothing in their lines that's going to affect her feather development. The rest of her looks normal. The rest of her looks fine. And she's shown us she's growing feathers. She's got 2 new tail feathers. She's got 2 new flight feathers. She might even be in the process of starting the turnover. The most ideal thing for a flighted bird is for her to have her natural wings. So my thought would be we do either one of 2 things. We're comfortable waiting. We let her molt, and then you flight her as soon as she can fly. Or while she's here, we remove a couple of feathers on each wing, try and get the body to replace those right away, and then at least then we could maybe start getting her to fly while the rest of them come in. But I think these are probably not going to sustain her and be able for her to get the right kind of lift. She's going to need her wings, almost a kilogram of body weight.
Yeah. I would like to do that, then take a few out. Just
I think it's a good idea. It's what's worked for a lot of the other birds. And then at least if we can get 3 or 4 on each wing, it's probably going to be enough for her to start getting enough exercise and start working with her muscle development. And then probably then we should see, or expect in the next few months. I mean, if she follows the rules, then in the next few months she should have full wings. Okay. Depending on when she drops the rest of those. Sometimes what we've done is taken a few feathers out, get new ones in there, and then the other ones aren't molting. Once we've got other ones and there's enough in there, then you can pull the ones in between kind of thing. And that way you can get the wings to turn over.
Wouldn't it take time? Like, it would take probably up to 2 years to have her full wingspan, right?
It might. It depends on what her feather turnover is. If she's this young, she should do a full turnover of those primary flights. So it would be that she'd have her full feathering in. I don't know that it would take quite that long. No, she should be able to turn over all of her shed flight feathers. Usually that happens at their first big molt. Some of these macaws it's around 10 months. Some of them it's a little bit earlier, some slightly later, but that's the time they generally will drop those feathers and start turning over all their feathers. If she drops them all properly, she should get new feathers in completely.
Okay.
So with imping those feathers in her, you think she wouldn't have lived to fly?
I don't think she would. No, I don't think that they're going to be potentially the right set, and I think they might be too small. I don't think they would work for her. No.
Because it's the same macaw. They are the same size.
I was just going to say, right? Yeah, they're about the same size.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know that all the full primaries. And it looks to me like they might not. You know, they're good feathers,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure about sizing and whether that's going to help sustain her. I mean, we'd need ideally at least 10 full primaries. You know, 10 full primary flights to be able to put in. And I don't know that these are those. I think it'd be a risk. I honestly don't think it would work.
Because you have to put her under to do that and stuff, right?
Yeah, she'd have to be under as well. Yeah, and we'd have to try to match the feathers, and they'd have to be posted and put in. Yeah. Some of them are broken. I don't think it's enough of a full set to have them line up to get the right coverage. I mean, the reality is, when I've done it in wildlife, you have a donor that has a full wing, or you've got tons of feathers, so you could actually sort of make the right. It's got to match. You know, it's got to be the right design, it's got to be the right set, they have to rest against each other, they have to be the right length. It's challenging, it can be really tricky, and it is a temporary procedure in those birds as well. But I would be fearful that in my hands, with trying with these, it probably wouldn't work. What do you think, Bird? You're awfully good.
Yeah, I mean,
Still too young to be a brat.
If you think that taking a couple feathers out,
That's what I would do.
yeah.
I mean, that would be my advice. I think that's the best thing to do.
I think 2 years would really be bad if that's
Yeah,
a long
I don't
trip,
think you should
but
have to. No, I don't think you should have.
If it's a couple months, I think that'd be fine.
Yeah, it should be. I mean,
But-
that would be my thought right now. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's typically the way it works in the majority of cases.
Yeah.
And especially because we deal with a lot of situations with birds that exhibit feather destructive behavior, you know, the African greys and these birds that chew their own feathers. A lot of times once they've chewed their primaries, we've got to take them out because they've got such damaged ends, and that encourages them to grow back in.
Yeah.
So if it works the way it's supposed to and she follows the rules, no, we're just talking about probably months for her to get a reasonable amount of feather development. Because she's this age.
Yeah.
If she were 12 weeks, no, if a lot longer. All right. And then you wanted us to do the microchip, right, as well? Get a microchip. So the microchip, in case you don't know, is an intramuscular implant. It goes in the pectoral muscle.
Yeah.
It's very small. We have the newer ones that came out a few years ago that are actually intended for birds and small animals, and we can put them in birds even as small as like cockatiels.
Wow.
But we no longer need to sedate these birds. They don't need anesthesia. It's almost like giving a quick intramuscular injection. We basically slide a needle into the muscle, put the implant in there. There should be no reaction. I've never, knock on wood, seen a bird have a problem with it. And then what we do is send you with the paperwork, and you just go online and register it.
Register the microchip.
And then that's it.
Well, I would definitely like to do that.
All right, so we can do that now. We can take a few feathers out, and if you're comfortable, we just need to borrow her for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll take care of those things, and then we'll see how things work out. And then hopefully I'm giving you the right advice, and I think it makes the most sense to go with this as a plan and see how things pan out over the next few weeks. Ideally, when we take some feathers out, we should have her replacing those right away. If her body responds properly, she can always have more taken out and get those wings back in much quicker. All right. What do the other birds think when you brought her in?
They're not really that much of a fan of her yet. She wants to be with them so
Are
bad.
they a pair, or they just live together?
They are a
Or
pair
they're-
now because I mean they're only a year old, but they're
Oh, okay.
they're very bonded to each other.
I was gonna
though.
say they're young though still.
Yeah, boy and a girl though,
Okay.
unrelated.
I guess at that point they live together, caged together, all that.
Yeah, I mean there's no cage for them. She's in a cage in the bird room just to keep her safe from them.
Oh, okay.
You know,
All
while,
right, that's what it mentioned. But
while
they're
unattended,
not in
but-
a cage. They don't live in a cage.
No, they just.
And the
have
goal
a-
is to have her with them, or
Outside,
at least
yeah.
at least
They
in the
don't have
same
to be
room.
best friends, but I mean as long as they're-
Coexist.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the flighting will help with that tremendously
Definitely,
too.
definitely good. All right, if we can borrow her, like I said, for about 10 minutes, we'll do what we need to do, and we'll be done. You had enough, Bird?
She's tired.
You want to go to Jocelyn?
No?
I don't know. You're the towel lady.
Oh, I did have the towel. I don't want to have this
Just I'll step up. I'll step up. I'm a good bird. There you go. All right, we'll be back in a few, okay?
Okay.
All right. Really good, huh? I'm glad she's not fearful of the towel. You okay?
The microchip is already in the chest. We tested it out. It's good. So this is just registering
Okay. So I fill that out and.
online, and yeah. That's about it.
Was she good when you plucked the feathers?
She was angry.
Oh.
Of course she was angry, but it was really quick and fast.
Did you get
So-
a peanut?
3 on each side.
So here we are.
And these are the primes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're hoping to see flight soon.
Yeah.
I know that you guys were interested in also getting your other macaws microchipped as well.
Yeah.
We do have them in stock. We were just unsure if we kept them in stock, so we do. But there is an exam, so you do have to do an exam and then get
Okay.
them microchipped.
Yeah, my
Just-
vet will do it without the exam.
Oh, okay, awesome.
She just does it.
Okay,
How much
cool.
is it to microchip?
The microchip itself is $67, but the exam is $120.
120. So okay. So almost $200.
Yeah, it's the same at my vet, but without the exam fee.
Yeah,
so I'll
which
just
is
do it.
cheaper.
Yeah, and it's closer. I'll just do that. I just figured while I was here with her, I might as well have
Might
her
as well do it. Yeah, definitely.
You're
Okay,
done.
all right, sounds good. So
Thanks
I'll
so
just hand
much.
this to you guys.
Thank
and you.
you.
Can just check out up front.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Did you park in the on the roof?
Yeah.
You hear the vet recommended not to imp Yara just because Yara's still a young bird and she needed a whole set, and unfortunately the donor feathers we had wasn't a whole set. These donor feathers, and he says this won't give her lift enough to get up in the air. So yeah, this didn't work. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, comment, like below, check out my other videos. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.